to talk about the truth.
It's something that growing up, we've been told that we can't do, because if we were honest, it would bring shame to us. And if we were actually truthful, what would people think and what would people say? And it's so nice to be in a place where you can sit with somebody and unapologetically be yourself, but then the other person receive it in a way that it's non-judgmental. Because I don't know about you, but a lot of cultural minorities, when you provide your truth to someone, you're always worried about how they're going to receive it. What are the after effects? When you tell that truth to one auntie, that auntie is going to go tell another auntie, and that auntie is going to go tell your mom, and then your mom's going to come back to you, right? And it's really unsettling to live in that, and especially growing up as a child when your parents are meant to be your safe space, and elders are meant to be your safe space, and elders are meant to be people that you can confide in, which is a lot of things that maybe me and you have been. I know I have. I know I've confided in adults when I was younger and realized that it slapped me back in the face.
Oh, yeah. I think for me, it was more about obedience is silence.
Yeah.
And I really hope we can have conversations about abuse and control and
Yeah.
without automatically being labeled as gender war.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I think what's really important in this conversation and around coercive control is some people now see coercive control as what you said, like a feminist issue rather than a human issue.
Men experience it as well.
100%. It's not gender exclusive.
No.
I've represented women experiencing it and men experiencing it, and I've seen children, no matter what gender they are, deeply impacted is. Now, what happens is, because statistically many victims are women, the conversation can become politically charged, right? But I know I always bring it back to this, but from a legal perspective, the law was gender neutral. The Serious Crime Act recognises controlling and coercive behaviour regardless of gender. And I think the danger is when people start looking at behaviour objectively and start viewing everything through ideology instead of evidence. I think that's super dangerous. And if you bring it back to, okay, who has the power? Who is being controlled? What does the evidence show? Because abuse is abuse, even when it doesn't fit into the narrative that people expect.
I just don't understand these labels, and when someone is just doesn't approve of your lifestyle, even though they're not able to help you in any way. They can't help you financially, they can't help you emotionally, but they're able to criticize your life.
Yeah. The thing is that I truly believe that culture can be such a beautiful thing. It should be embraced and it should protect you. It shouldn't silence you. And the moment somebody's autonomy or safety or freedom is restricted under the disguise of tradition or reputation, you tell me, is that culture or is it abuse?
It is definitely abuse. But Maz, what does approval actually mean to you?
Oh, good question. What does approval mean to me? I think approval means to me when you are providing your truth and it is received with love and no judgments. I think that's approval. I think having an entity or somebody comfortably allowing you to provide your honesty and then receiving it wholeheartedly without the backlash. That's approval. Approval is knowing you're safe. Approval is knowing that you are accepted. Approval is knowing that whatever you say, your truth is, there is going to be no danger caused to you because of that. Approval is a positive word, right? There's no negative connotation associated with it. So anything negative that comes from approval, that's disapproval. That's my perspective anyway.
I wonder if you ever got punished for becoming more yourself.
I think being a Muslim Asian girl doing law, speaking up about sexual abuse, speaking up about cultural abuse, speaking up about honor-based abuse, um, yeah, you can get punished. And yes, I have been told to stay quiet. I have been told to probably not speak about some things. I have been told to um save my own reputation.
What does that even mean?
I've been told to be very careful with what I speak about in public arenas. Am I careful? Am I? Really?
It's like this thing that we grow up with. Protect your reputation. From whom? From an abusive partner? From
From,
a
and
man?
I think it's not. It's from society, isn't it? It's from our perspective, from our parents' perspective. They are embedded in their identity of what people think of them. That is their identity, right? So when the elder generation in the 60s, 70s, women came to this country and their identity was their husbands. Their identity was being the bread makers. Their identity was, if my children are safe, they are good, they get married to good people, we are going to be accepted more in society. So when those children are now growing up to 20, 30, 40 years old, and they are breaking away from that, our moms still haven't moved from where they are because that's still their identity. No matter how old their children are, that is still their identity. That's not their fault. They, 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 they had cards dealt with them. They did the best that they could with the situations that they were given. They did their very best. My mom did like, mashallah. I, my mom's whole life is her children and her grandchildren and her husband. That is her whole life. And I have asked my mom, is there any other life that you may have or want or, anything? And, she's very sociable. She does her own thing and so does my dad. But at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, nothing else matters but their own. And for children, that can feel quite suffocating. It can feel a lot of pressure. And I see that now in family proceedings, right? I can see the effects of the suffocation on children and how that feels, that pressure that, okay, I am only living for you. You are the only reason that I am here today. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be with your dad anymore.
Ooh.
But it's only because of you I'm staying here.
To
You
be,
are everything to me.
I feel like we kind of all heard this growing up. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've heard that growing up. And I feel that's the shame that we are conditioned with. That's, to me, is shame becomes a form of social control, especially for women and men growing up. If you hear in our societies, that's a shame. You shouldn't do this. That's not right. What, shame, shame, shameful. So you constantly thinking, protect your reputation, protect your reputation. So
Yeah.
this is the fear that we grow up feeling. How do we look on the outside? I've
Yeah.
seen some people, they change personalities depending on the settings. They
So true. So true. So true.
they go with their Asian aunties. They become completely.
But do you not think that's survival mode?
It's very sad. I feel they are genuinely having an identity crisis. Like,
I shouldn't laugh. It's true. It's 100% true. But I'll be honest, I've done it too.
me
I've
too. I'm
I've
guilty
done it too.
in the
I
past.
know exactly who to act depending on who I'm around. I know exactly how my mum wants it. I've been trained. I know very well. I went to boot camp. All right. I know how to serve the tea. I know how to greet at the front door, call me front of house. Right. I know. But and don't get me wrong, when I was little and my mom said I did a good job, I felt like I was the best child in the world. I did. I did. I thought I was incredible. I thought I was the Queen of Sheba. Right. But again, like, for children, that I can also understand how damaging that can be. Because again, it's your autonomy being taken from you to appease somebody else and to gain the approval of someone else, which therefore has the consequence of a child feeling insecure when they don't have that, constantly growing up trying to seek that approval and validation of adults. And sometimes it can be even more dangerous when it comes to little girls and little boys seeking their validation of adults that are dangerous,
Oh, yes. Oh,
right? It can be a very slippery slope.
it's the constant of having to perform. I feel it's a performance. That's why in Hope Re-Embroidered, I explore the idea of living two realities, the public
Amazing.
version and the private truth. Did you feel that split in your own life?
Mm, I think felt like I could have very open and honest conversations with my parents, but not in front of other people. I felt like I could be safe to have these conversations at home, but in front of the people that I wanted to challenge, I never could. I could never challenge them face to face. I had to go through my elders for that to be challenged, because it was, I mean, even now at 32 years old, there are some things that I just cannot do when it comes to other elders. And I want to say things that are wrong. And I want to say things that I feel like are unsafe, but I'm told not to. And morally, who I am as a person, standing up for people's rights, advocating, speaking up for the truth, making a change is who I am. It's inherently who I am. I have to speak up in injustice. It cannot sit with me. And when I'm being told that I have to stay silent, something within me feels unsettled. I don't feel good. And then in essence of that, I see the people I love watching me feel unsettled. And then I feel like, don't you have compassion for me? Right? I'm feeling like this. Do you not get that this is hurting me? And then you're telling me to stay quiet? But I think what I've learned over the years, even in law, and I think my career has helped me, there's a time and a place. There is a time and a place. And sometimes making permanent decisions based on temporary emotions is not always the best way forward, which I've done in the past. And I realize that. And within litigation, you have to think with strategy. And with your personal life, I've had to start thinking with strategy, because if I start saying what I want whenever I want, it could be more harmful than good. But if I think strategically, I could probably get more justice out of that. I'm more likely to make a change in that way than I am losing control.
Exactly. Especially now that you were talking about these topics, feel that we have to, in our culture, sometimes we have to feel small to fit. We have to, but how much damage is caused by phrases like, be patient, do not shame the family. What will people say? And also, I feel this silence can become generational.
Yeah, 100%. Honor-based abuse is real. And honor-based abuse is recognised within UK law as a form of abuse, and it can involve multiple perpetrators, not just one partner, but an extended family. And there are specific protection orders. So forced marriage protection orders, not just coming from the partner, but mostly from the parents, non-molestation orders, safeguarding within children proceedings. And importantly, the courts treat these cases with a really high level of seriousness because of the collective risk that is involved, how damaging it can be from a whole family and a whole society shunning you, silencing you, and stopping you from exercising your free will.
Wow. Wow.
That's and it's so normal. so normal. You don't even realize it's happening. A woman being told that she can't leave the home because it will bring shame. She can't go out of 10 o'clock because what will people say? Contact with friends or work is restricted because of family expectations. You can't go to the bar with your work colleagues. How dare you?
You
You're
can't find
married into
a
this
man.
family now. Yeah,
And
if you're a man, you can. Of course you can.
it's like if you say, oh, if someone comes and asks about this family and they say their daughter goes out and she's too modern, you can't find a husband.
No.
It's
Yeah.
that mentality.
Yeah.
And, I know it all starts from childhood. It feels, from the patterns I have been witnessing, really. And
Hmm.
I wonder, children, do you think they internalize silence as love?
From a legal perspective, children are now recognized as victims of domestic abuse in their own right. But what I see in practice is this: kids don't just witness it 100%, they absorb it. I've seen children becoming anxious or withdrawn. They mirror controlling behavior, even with toys.
Oh,
They feel responsible for keeping the peace. They silence themselves just to make sure mum and dad don't fight. And this is what the court focuses on: lived experience, not just what is said, but what the child is growing up in, because 100% they absorb it. 100% they absorb it. Even when you have two people that you are born into this world with, that you grow up idolizing. And if those two people are not getting on, you are a product of that. And you automatically feel like you are a result of that. Because why? Dad is staying quiet because he knows that I'm here. And mum is staying quiet because she's saying that I'll get upset. I'm the problem. I am the issue. So to resolve that, I'm going to withdraw. I'm going to stay in my room. I'm going to text on my phone, and I'm going to seek approval of other people because I can't speak up at home. And I don't even understand it myself. I don't even know what's going on. I'm just trying to get by because I've got school in the morning.
it's so difficult because I can't even imagine what that does to a child's nervous system as their identity, future relationships. What do you think?
Yeah, anxiety is a lot of children within children proceedings end up getting, when they're in between parental conflict. We have expert evidence being involved because a lot of these children are experiencing physical symptoms, migraines, feeling sick, going to the doctors constantly, saying, "Mummy, for some reason my head hurts and I don't know why. Mummy, I feel sick. I don't want to go in the car." Suddenly before contact. It's very, very common, but these are all symptoms of anxiety. I've had kids even with asthma that the doctors are saying that this is anxiety driven.
Wow. Wow.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Do you know, Maz, there's a chapter in my book, Hope Re-Embroidered, where Hope's child, her name is Amal. She
Mm.
wrote a letter to Hope. I would love to share that with you because
Please,
that
please, please.
that's the perspective of a child. Maybe I can share it with you now and you
I
can
was about to say, can you read it out to me now? I
I
didn't want to
can
be
read it to
didn't
you.
want to be rude. Show me.
It's because now that you're mentioning it, it's basically this is from a 10-year-old perspective. She has no clue what's going. She's only witnessing it. I'm just going to try and pull it up. Anyways, yeah, I just realized we didn't even introduce, like, say hi, Maz, how are you? I just,
Who cares? Doesn't matter.
I'm sure
I'm not that important. It's fine.
I really want to read it to you because
Oh
it's really sad.
God,
Not
I'm gonna
very long,
cry.
but where
But
is it's somewhere in. Okay, where is it? Where is it? It's called Amal. Where is it? The funny thing. Yes, Hope's husband. You know what it means in Arabic? It means hopeless. Alias. It has this, but people can. The shouting makes my stomach hurt. I go to Ali for comfort, but he tells me to go back to sleep. He is scared too. I can see in his eyes. Sometimes I feel like I might wet the bed because Baba sounds so angry. Are you okay? It feels like you are disappearing, Mama. You sleep so much now, and Baba said you tried to die. Why would you do that? Please be strong. It is not your fault. Baba says you want to destroy our family, but I do not understand why. He told us you took a lot of tablets. He keeps saying you are crazy and recording you. He told Ali and me that you hate us and that you found a new man. Is that true? I'm starting to feel angry at you, and I'm sorry for that. I hate feeling like this. I think about the times we were happy, the beach, movie nights, you laughing. I miss that. I also remember when Baba hurt you, like the time in the car on the motorway when he choked you and punched your chest while driving. I am sorry I could not stop him. I still see it. But he says it is your fault. Is it? Why do you not want him if he is changing? He cries a lot. He said he broke the television and his phone because you did not listen to him. We are very tired. We do not sleep. You are both fighting every night. Why can you not forgive him? My birthday's coming up. I cannot believe I will be 12. Can you buy me an iPad, please? I love you so much, Mama. Amal, XOXO.
That she's got so many questions. And the worst thing is that I don't even think her mom can answer them.
She is in the middle of all of it, and her brother is older than her, and she feels she doesn't understand what is going on, but she sees her father crying, her father trying, and her mother looks unwell, incapable, and she's
Sorry,
questioning.
I told you I'm really emotional today.
Oh, I,
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, sorry. No. Do you know what? It's really, she loves her mom so much. And no matter, and I always say this, a lot of parents say to me, Maz, the other parent's going to speak negatively about me. The other piece of parents saying this little girl has had her dad say the worst things about her mom, but she still loves her so much. Her love is unconditional for her parents. She has no conditions. That's how beautiful and how loving children are. Adults have so many conditions when it comes to love, but kids don't. And I remember I had this case, and it was a little girl who was being sexually abused by her stepdad, and she really, really wanted to tell her mom. She really wanted to tell her mom, and her mum ended up finding her diary. And in this diary, it said every day how this little girl really wanted to tell her mom. So it was on Wednesday. Dear diary, I'm going to tell mum today. I've woken up and I've decided. It started when I was 6, I think 6 or 7. Rape, no, but sexual assault, yes. He would touch my breasts. He would go inside my trousers. And she then ended it saying, Mommy was in a really good mood today. I don't want to upset her. I'll do it tomorrow. Next day, I'm going to tell Mommy today. We're going to the supermarket. And before we go to the supermarket, I'll tell her then. And then the next diary entry, I couldn't tell Mommy today because who's going to pay for the bills? And I realized that Dad gave her money for petrol. And she's keeping all of this inside of her because she just wants to keep the peace, even though she is the victim for the past 10 years. She has been abused and she was battling day in, and she never spoke up. Her mum found a diary. She never spoke up. She didn't say anything. She couldn't do it because she loved her parents that much. She loved her parents more than herself.
Oh,
She loved her mom and dad more than what she wanted for her truth.
I cannot imagine what children take with them and what they carry with them.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
It's not fair. It's just not fair. They don't choose to be in this mess. They weren't born. Children are born innocent. They're not born malicious. They're not born with hate. They're not born with negativity. They are born completely innocent, and they get pulled into an adult's world and the adult's drama. And
I'm
it's a
just,
lot.
Maz, I'm just wondering why some parents use their children therapists. Like, they don't understand that leave your children alone. Why do they do that to them?
I've sat across people who are incredibly strong, but they're navigating fear, culture, pressure, and sometimes they risk losing their entire support system. So all they have is their offspring to support them because they are shunned in silence from everyone else, including their own parents, because we've all got an inner child in us. And even as an adult, when our inner child is being rejected, it is super isolating. Me and you both know that that can feel dread. It's like a death. When as a full grown adult, your mum and dad reject you, it can be a massive grievance, a loss. So imagine a child feeling like that. But then again, mothers and parents and fathers, when your spouse has rejected you, your spouse has left you, your spouse is emotionally distant, your parents are then rejecting you because your spouse is not accepting you. Society then sees you as not good enough because you're not able to keep your husband happy. Who else do you have? Who else do you have? You have your beautiful children that you feel like, okay, you know that your child sees it. You know more than anyone that your child is not as ignorant as you would like them to be. You know your child is very smart. So it does get into the point where you start opening up to the child and you say, "Did you hear what happened yesterday?" And your child says, "Yeah, I did hear what happened yesterday, mommy. Can you tell me why dad was shouting?" And you realize that you end up offloading to your child without even realizing. Because we're humans at the end of the day, and that's your offspring. You don't see them as a child. You see them as a part, an extension of you. And it's difficult because children nowadays are so articulate, they are so sensible, and they are very mature. And I've met a lot of children, young children, that are very good with their words, very good. And when you're a mother or a father and you listen to that, you feel very astounded. You can learn a lot from children and what they say and how they deal with things. I know I do.
Yeah.
And and it's really easy to fall into that pit. But I think before even entering that conversation, parents do need to remember that that they are still growing and they have not formed yet. Social media and this Gen Z generation has taken out the innocence from our children, but that doesn't mean that they're not kids anymore. They still are. They can seem like they're very mature, but
Mm.
really,
They're still
God made
children.
them, they're still children. God made them very innocent.
Maz,
So,
yes, sorry. Uh,
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Imagine this, right? There's a child says, I only bond with my father. He tries to speak to me. It's either he speaks badly about my mother or either tells me that I have to get A plus. And then when he says, I want to speak about my aspiration and what I want to do, he just walks away.
How did you feel?
It's horrible having to navigate that as a child. What do you think if
Instead of the parent focusing on the welfare of the child, the parent is too busy focusing on attacking mom. And that's where the child ends up feeling rejected and neglected. And it's, it starts becoming about parental conflict rather than the focus on him.
does that necessarily tie to the other parent being abusive? Or would that tie to mental health issues? I know
It's emotional abuse. It's
it's more.
emotional abuse. Yeah, yeah. Because parental conflict is taken very seriously. Parental alienation is taken very seriously. So if one parent is speaking negatively about the other parent to the child, you are alienating that parent away from that child. That is emotional abuse because that child already has a positive relationship and a positive ideology of the other parent. Another adult is coming in and destroying that beautiful ideology that is in this child's head. And that child's mind is going to be infiltrated with confusion. So who is perpetrating that abuse? It is the parent that is actively trying to damage that child's narrative of the parent. Why? Not for the welfare of the child. Then that parent isn't doing it for the welfare of the child. That parent is doing it out of spite and to attack the other parent.
Can professionals see through it? Would you
Yes.
see through it?
Yes, yes, 100%. Yes. I can easily sit there and listen to someone's story and see how they talk about contact arrangements and figure out whether or not they facilitated contact in a child focused way or if they're doing it to spite the other parent or one up them or be equal or do tit for tat. 100%. It's very easy.
Do you think coercive control within cultural settings is sometimes minimized or misunderstood by professionals?
It's seen a lot more. I think the more people are speaking about it, the more known it is. Um, I think coercive control is already really subtle. And when you add culture, family, and reputation, it becomes even harder to evidence. And something I say a lot is you can feel everything, but the court is looking at what you can prove. So, in essence, if you have gone from a life before marriage where um, you had a flourishing education, you have a very large social life, you had a lot of associations, you were on social media, and then the pattern shows that after marriage, this was heavily restricted.
Mhm.
And your friends are now doing witness statements saying that that they didn't see you enough, or you've changed in who you are, or suddenly you're having to cover up more. This that can be evidenced. That can be
Yeah.
shown.
To be honest, as a survivor myself, I remember at some point I truly believed that friends are going to ruin my marriage.
Even before I got married, even now, I always get told, keep your happiness to yourself because people will try and damage you. Nuzzer, right? The
Not
evil eye.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, I think we're capable enough to tell who's good. And, once you have your own identity, that they stop trying to take it away from you, I think we can make judgments based of who we can trust.
Probably the first one was abusive. I've now gone into my second relationship. I'm finally happy. And then all my friends are telling me, don't tell anybody that you're happy because people aren't going to be happy for you.
This all the time. It's like, don't tell, don't speak, especially when I'm speaking to family. I say, oh, I feel better. I'm happier. Keep it quiet. Keep it. I'm thinking,
Like, who's coming to get me? Who is coming to get me? Tell me. Where are they? I'm scared. Like,
oh,
but
man,
again, it's
I had a friend when I was very, very young. When she used to laugh so much and be happy, she says, "Oh no, we shouldn't laugh too much. Something bad will happen."
my mom, when I used to go to the mosque when I was little and we would laugh at the back of the mosque, she would always tell us to stop laughing. She'd be like, it looks really bad. Could you stop laughing? And I had to go like this. I literally had to go like this, like, because we were told not to laugh. But 100%, the most dangerous control is the one that is normalized. When abuse and silence starts becoming normal and you do not speak up about it, that is where the danger comes in. Because you are embedding within yourself, even if nobody's around, You are telling your own mind that it is accepted. So I have this exercise that if I feel like I'm being silenced, right, I, so I say, for example, I'm in court and I'm challenging the judge, right? I'm challenging the judge and I do not agree with what the judge is saying. The judge is not agreeing with me. And the judge is saying, Miss Ahmed, respectfully, shut up. And I'm saying, Judge, actually, but my client, hang on, wait, you can't tell me to be quiet. But my client, and Miss Ahmed, please sit down, stop talking, right? I'm going to feel like my client's not being stood up for. You silence me, and I'm speaking up for my client, and my client's been silenced her whole life. So I have an exercise where I have to speak my truth. Otherwise, I'm accepting abuse. So when I leave that courtroom, I have to speak about it. I have to speak about the injustice. I am not going to stay silent about it, and I'm going to fight it. Because I may be silenced in one room, but in another, I may be able to speak up. And if that one silences me, I have to try again, because I'm not going to accept abuse here, because my children and my children's children will then have to suffer the consequences of it. And I'm not being a part of that. Everybody else can, but I don't want to be. So I don't mind being the odd one out. And I may look like an idiot in the meantime, but I, I'll go through it.
Well done. Well done. This is where other people will try to silence you. You
Yeah.
know, that you mentioned that you represent survivors. Because,
Yeah.
I just wonder, how do survivors rebuild an identity after years of being psychologically conditioned to shrink themselves?
It's not easy. It's not easy. I think, again, when you leave a person, you leave a system, and that means you have to completely break away. But just because something in that setting is common doesn't mean it's right. So when you have realized that that setting is inherently wrong, you have to separate yourself entirely.
For example, for me, immediately, the minute I escaped and I started all over again, they started to think, when's she getting married again? When is she going to be with another man? Is she? They start to kind of look at you in a way, not about, does she have money? Is she okay? Can she survive? Does she need shelter?
Mm,
Can she afford a grocery?
mm.
How is her mental health?
Yeah.
I think people are just stuck on the surface. What would you say to someone listening right now who feels trapped between their safety and their community?
Culture should be used to embrace, not to impress. Culture is being used as a shield. And you know when that becomes a problem. If you don't feel like your culture is making things more beautiful for you and is oppressing you, you can feel it in your heart when it's a problem. I don't think any culture is bad.
Maz, don't you think it would sound better instead of, why aren't you remarried? How are you feeling? Your mental health. Do you need support? Do you want me to help you financially to get support? How would
Or, 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 God, well, that one didn't work out. What did you do wrong?
Yeah,
Did you hear? Did you hear? And this is something I always say. You know, when you sit in the gossip, even if you stay silent, you are still a part of it. If you sit in it, you are still compliant. You are still part of it. So if you want to be the big person and say, well, do you know what? I don't talk. I don't get involved. Get up and walk away. That's what makes a difference, because you sit in it, you're part of it. End of. I'm sorry.
and
You are just as part of the abuse as the person that is saying it.
that's another thing. Like you said, culture is beautiful. I respect everyone, but
Yeah.
also it hurts parts of us. And I feel, even with healing, what does healing look like when you still love parts of your culture but need to unlearn what harmed you?
Oh. That's a good question. I think healing comes in when you can find the balance in between loving where you've come from without feeling like you're not being yourself, and still appreciating your roots without associating any negativity towards them, and understanding that one bad person or one bad relationship doesn't reflect a whole society. And just because you're leaving that relationship, and you are potentially leaving a whole structure, doesn't change who you are and where you've come from, because that makes you you.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that I feel like are culturally abusive. There's a lot of conversations I've sat in growing up, and I probably still do, where I feel like is extremely oppressive and is extremely wrong. Would I change who I am? Would I change where I come from for anything? God, no. No, because I love weddings. I love food. I love us celebrating. I love us dancing. I love all of that, right? And that is who I am. I love the you know, the hospitable nature. I love going back home and, having so much dua, so much love, so much unconditional help for nothing in return. There's no monetary value. I love all of that. But again, I feel like when culture is moved across overseas, the religion gets pulled out of it and it starts being used as a tool to control. And that's to do with the person, that's not to do with the culture. You can take any system and make it evil. You can take anything beautiful and make it wrong. That doesn't mean that the culture is inherently wrong. And when you start accepting that and realizing that and living your life in a way that embraces that, I think that's healing.
So, Maz, is there a message or anything you would like to share?
I think the biggest thing I want people to take away from this conversation is that abuse isn't always loud or visible. Sometimes it looks like fear. And whether that control comes through a relationship or culture or religion or pressure, none of it should leave you feeling trapped or voiceless. And I also want people to understand that there is legal protection available. There are non-molestation orders, there are occupation orders, there are safeguarding within children proceedings, there are forced marriage protection orders, there's honor-based abuse. The law recognizes all of this. But protection starts with understanding your rights early, documenting your patterns, and getting proper advice before things escalate further. Please, please do not wait for things to become physical to seek help. Please, fear, intimidation, isolation, this all matters. And if you feel unheard right now, please know this, that just because your abuse is really difficult to explain doesn't mean that it's any less real. There are people who will listen. There are professionals who will fight for you, and there is a way forward, because healing starts where silence ends.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being so loving. Thank you for just opening up these conversations, and thank you for just being being a way forward for our younger generation and our generation today to just finally break the stigma, break the stereotype. Thank you. Thank you. Your words are life-changing. Your words are moving, and you are making such a difference. And honestly, I'm so honored. I'm so honored. Wallahi, I am. Thank you.
I am honored. Thank you for being part of this conversation. Just one more thing. I know you've mentioned the legality. What about shelter? I don't know if for example, if someone in danger, I think I know they can get the legal help. So who can they reach out to?
So there are refuges that they can go to. There are national domestic abuse helplines. They can help women and children access emergency refuges. There's Women's Aid, there's Men's Advice Line, there are even domestic violence agencies for ethnic minorities. There's Roshni, there's Waits. There's a lot of agencies that you just look for, refuges that will help you seek immediate shelter. Leaving isn't something that they should feel like they have to do alone. There are organizations, that are refuges, that are legal protections and support systems available that can give you that emergency accommodation.
Would you think also the local council, if somebody approaches the local council for...
Yes, they can go to a local council, but most likely the local council will refer you over to one of these agencies and one of these refuges.
Thank you, Maz.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so grateful.
I'm honored to speak to you today.